Here we are at Domino's Pizza.
The untold truths of Domino's. It doesn't matter if you love them or hate them, you've had their pizza. It's delivered to office parties and college campuses in giant piles. It's a staple of football games. It fills the hole and satisfies that pizza craving. You've ordered from them, but how much do you really know about them? Not all you should. Let's fix that. Domino's founder was almost a priest. Tom Monaghan's father passed away when he was only 4 years old, and he was 6 when his mother had no choice but to turn him and his younger brother James over to the care of a Felician Sisters orphanage. According to the balance, she got on her feet and was later able to take the boys back into her care. But Monaghan had already developed firm religious beliefs, thanks to a nun named Sister Brada. He told the New Yorker, so strong, he briefly considered going into the seminary and becoming a priest. Instead, he ended up serving 3 years with the Marines, then returning to his hometown of Ann Arbor, Michigan. He had goals of being an architect, and alongside an enrollment in the University of Michigan, he and his brother bought a pizzeria. Originally named Dominique's after previous owners Dominic and Nick, and changed it to Domino's Pizza. When they opened the fourth store, Monaghan bought his brother's share in the business. The price? A Volkswagen Beetle. Domino's invented the pizza box as we know it today. Monaghan pizzerias failed at first, but he shaped the business to cater to the college students in town. A saucy, cheesy mess. And it also meant those pizzas were still going to be hot when they got there. It was a winning combination that directly led to his 30-minute guarantee rollout in 1973, and within 10 years he was rich enough to buy the Detroit Tigers. The founder walked away to go on a moral crusade. By 1985, Monaghan sat at the top of an empire that included 2,800 locations and a personal fortune that allowed him to invest in things like the Tigers, a 200-strong collection of classic cars, and an island resort. When Bloomberg looked at the empire in 2017, they also looked at the Monaghan sale of the company. In 1998, he sold 93% for $1 billion to Bain Capital LP, which was run by Mitt Romney at the time. According to the New Yorker's 2007 interview with the eccentric billionaire, he really wanted to help guide people on the path to heaven, and do what he could to rescue his beloved Catholic Church from what he saw as a downward spiral. When he learned about the different beliefs developing within the church, he had found his personal crusade, and he started with getting involved with supporting the Nicaraguan Contras and ultimately funding a $4.5 million cathedral. In 1989, he stepped down from being Domino's president and CEO, swore what he called a millionaire's vow of poverty, and started selling off his property. When he sold the company in 1998, it was with the Domino's big sale. He got the cold shoulder. David Osborne called ahead from the airport and was told to leave, but didn't. When he asked for a press packet regarding Domino's sale, the brand reluctantly agreed. He was met at the headquarters by Monaghan's daughter, Maggie, the same person who told him to go home, and a security guard who told him no one wanted him snooping around. His visit only lasted minutes, but he did walk away with one observation. Women were restricted to a dresses and kids only dress code. Domino's didn't want to publish nutritional information. Domino's lack of transparency extended to their pizza, too. In 2012, it led the fight against new government regulations that would require restaurants to list their nutritional information. The Bangor Daily News says Domino's wasn't the only pizza place protesting the requirement. It was joined by Papa John's, Pizza Hut, and Little Caesars. But Domino's died lead the charge. It was based on the idea it just wasn't feasible, and the sheer number of possible combinations of ingredients a customer could order on their pizza meant there was no way that consumers will not understand and make my small business pay for it. One man ate Domino's every day to prove a point. We all know it's not good to eat a whole pizza every day. In spite of Domino's pizza planner that shows customers just how to responsibly enjoy a few slices of Domino's, one absolute legend decided he wasn't going to be told what to do and chose Domino's to prove a point about eating healthy and working out. Brian Northrop ate a whole Domino's pizza every day for 367 days in addition to other foods. By the end, he had lost 5.9 pounds, proving the point he set out to make. You don't need to stress about everything you eat. You don't need to feel like you failed at a diet because of a few pieces of pizza, and you can absolutely exercise away a bad diet. Even though he clarified to Food Beast that he didn't recommend it. Thanks Brian, and thanks Domino's. Domino's international stores have some wild stuff on the menu. If you stop by any one of Domino's international locations for a quick bite, thinking you're going to get a taste of home, you'd be sorely mistaken. Domino's menus outside of the US look extraordinarily different, and it caters to regional tastes. Head to Japan, says adage, and you'll get things like snow crab, beef stew, shrimp gratin, and mangalista pork with Bordeaux sauce. If you'd care to spend around $50, you can even get a Domino's pizza topped with the highly controversial foie gras. What else will you find? Domino's Ireland says their most popular topping is the familiar pepperoni, but the restaurant chain also offers customers grilled lamb in the Netherlands, lamb and pig ginger in India, black bean sauce in Guatemala, squid and shrimp in Taiwan, potatoes in Korea, and capsicum in Australia. Because of course you can, it's Australia. Proceeds founded a Catholic university and town. As a part of Monaghan's plan to set people on the path to heaven and die broke, the New Yorker says he took $250 million from the sale of Domino's and put it into what he called the Ave Maria Foundation. He had started out funding elementary schools, but his vision grew into establishing a community and university that would operate under the guidelines of the Catholic faith. Originally destined for Ann Arbor, Monaghan's college met some serious local pushback, and he ended up partnering with a Florida development company who agreed to give him the land for his university if they could develop the community around it. The college became Ave Maria University and the town is Ave Maria Town. There's been a huge number of problems, including the controversy over Monaghan's plans to restrict things like contraceptives and what kind of entertainment is available to his town's residents. He'd also opened his law school in Ann Arbor and made the decision to move to Florida without consulting his students or professors, who weren't keen on the idea of packing up and moving to Southwest Florida. Via Knobs Daily News. Despite its controversial beginnings, Ave Maria has grown into a flourishing town with a university, law school, award-winning country clubs, and surprisingly no Domino's. Domino's hasn't taken a stance on abortion, but the founder has. One of the first and most important rules of business is not to alienate potential customers. Domino's and Monaghan didn't get the memo, and in 2013 the restaurant brand caused a massive stir when he headed to court in order to go head-to-head with some of the regulations put in place by the Obama administration. According to Life News, Monaghan's stance was that it was gravely immoral to require deeply religious business owners to pay for their employees' birth control drugs or drugs that had the potential to cause abortion. He complained it was a violation of his rights, and it's important to note he was arguing on behalf of Domino's Farms, not Domino's Pizzas. It's a distinction not many people could be bothered to make. And Snopes says the relationship between Domino's and Monaghan's controversial beliefs is a complicated one. Domino's official statement is that it has no official stance and it doesn't support groups on either side of the abortion debate. It's just good business. But Snopes also says Domino's sales filed the New York Attorney General office on behalf of Domino's employees, and it claimed both Domino's corporate and franchise owners hadn't been following the letter of the law when it came to giving out fair tips and overtime pay. It was no accident either, as the result of a multi-year investigation found the software Domino's uses to keep track of payroll, called Pulse, had been programmed to short employees on their pay. There were other problems too, and the suit stated the software allowed corporate to micromanage what went on in franchise locations. The software even issued notices to managers if it was time to discipline or fire an employee, and that sort of management means everyone is liable in the wage theft accusations. It's not just a small change either. 78% of stores were ultimately paying less than minimum wage. Domino's defended their practices, but the lawsuit might be one of the catalysts for unionizing food workers. Domino's dropped its 30-minute delivery guarantee. Domino's 30-minute delivery guarantee is credited with being one of the reasons the business was so successful. But there's no guarantee anymore. What happened? There are a ton of rumors, including one that was the official reason that perception came from some tragic accident. In 1989, a 49-year-old woman was hit by a Domino's driver and suffered severe head and spinal injuries, reported the LA Times. And in 1990, a 40-year-old woman was killed in a collision with a Domino's delivery van, a crash that injured her 3 sons and a friend. So Domino's never stated death and injury was the reason for dropping their guarantee, and instead said it was due to public perception. Minor details. There's still been some tragic accident involving Domino's delivery. Domino's dropped their time guarantee and replaced it with one that relied on quality, but it didn't stop the accident involving their drivers. In 2013, Forbes reported a Texas family was awarded a $32 million settlement after delivery was involved in an accident that caused the death of a 65-year-old woman and left her husband with permanent brain damage, the chest down with injuries that led to his death 15 months later. Domino's said it intended to appeal the decision since the driver was an employee of an independent franchise owner. It created the first purpose-built pizza delivery car. In 2015, Domino's unveiled the results of its latest project, designed to illustrate just how committed to delivery the brand really was. The DXP was a reimagined 2015 Chevrolet Spark, sporting all the gadgets and gizmos needed to make pizza delivery insanely efficient. That included things like a pizza oven that would keep everything at the right temperature, storage compartments for things like soda and dipping sauce, and room for an impressive 80 pizzas. According to CNET, around 100 DXP delivery vehicles were slated to be delivered within 3 months of the unveil. And they also added Domino's had reached out to Chevrolet that have shaped our world. But even the biggest tech supporters will have to admit Domino's new plans to track their customers is just a little too big brotherish. According to ZDNet, Domino's announced in 2016 it would be adopting the technology it already used to track its drivers' movements to start using it on its Australian customers. Customers would order pizza, and if they were heading to the store to pick it up, their GPS would establish a cook zone. When the tracker indicated the customer was in that cook zone, Domino's would know it was time to start their pizza, so it would be ready but still piping hot. When they walked in the door, Domino's called it on-time cooking and creepy or not creepy. The Noid, Domino's evil mascot, created a hostage situation. Every fast food superhero needs an anti-hero to thwart delicious food's efforts everywhere. Domino's had its own version of a pizza delivery nemesis, the Noid, a red floppy-eared bunny humanoid that has worked to get in between people and their pizza upon his creation in 1986. The Noid had an on and off presence in Domino's commercials until 2021, when it was brought back to the big screen to battle against the Neuro robot delivery car. The controversial mascot created not only cringy commercial moments, but also one of the most intense PR disasters in fast food history. On January 30, 1989, Kenneth Noid held two hostages at gunpoint in a Domino's in Champlin, Georgia. According to the Boca Raton News, Noid had an ongoing feud in his mind with the owner of Domino's, and believed he was targeted by the Noids from the Domino's commercial. No one was injured, but Kenneth Noid was soon caught and charged with kidnapping, assault, and theft. Sadly, Noid killed himself several years later after years of mental illness, and Domino's abandoned its despised mascot, passing the scapegoat torch to the second worst fast food mascot, the Arby's oven mitt. Domino's logo has 3 dots for a special reason. Brand recognition is crucial, and good logo can make a company instantly recognizable. Domino's is no exception with its red and blue domino with 3 dots. Simple yet effective. There is a lot of meaning and significance behind Domino's seemingly random logo. Tom and James Monaghan bought the formerly named pizza joint Dominique's in 1960 and then changed to the name to Domino's in 1965 because it sounded similar enough to stay recognizable among Patreons. Naturally, with the name change, the logo was created to become instantly noticeable and associated with the company. Originally, the logo consisted of a red domino with 3 dots and a blue domino below it with the company's name inside it. Tom Monaghan told CNN Money that they decided to put 3 dots on the dominoes because they had 3 stores at the time. The intent was to add a dot to the logo for every store that was open, but obviously didn't take into consideration how fast Domino's would grow. Eventually, in 2012, the logo was changed to the blue and red domino we all know and remember.